Nasikin, wake up.
Destiny, my favorite liberal. How you doing?
Wait, have I talked to you a lot before?
No,
Oh,
it's the first time.
okay. What's up?
It's and it's Seacon, but
Oh,
that's
my bad, dude.
let me meet your stream. Uh, so how you doing? First off,
Doing great.
okay. So I kind of want to talk to you about the Blackpill. I recently discovered it, and I kind of just want to see what your thoughts about it. Let me close your stream actually.
Pretty depressing, I guess.
Is it just nihilism? Is that what you think it is? Mostly.
Isn't the Blackpill accepting that there are huge things about reality that are you can never change about yourself, and some girls will never like you because of some bullshit or whatever?
I might be a victim of in the algorithm or something, but it's to me it's mostly the differences between the pills are the black pill focuses on looks, the red pill focuses on game, and then looks that you can change going to the gym, and then the blue pill is more personality. So I kind of want to hear your definition, and then I kind of want to provide the definition that I want to talk to you about.
Well, I mean, there's probably going to be little nuggets of truth to all of them, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. I know that's crazy. I'm just now getting into it, and I was kind of going down my list of friends, and seeing if they can debunk it at first. But now I've kind of accepted it, and it's whatever. So,
well, I mean, you can't every ideology is going to have some elements of truth to it. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't exist very long as an ideology, right?
Yeah,
there's going to be some things you could be born with that are going to make you naturally better in sexual marketplaces or whatever the fuck, and there's going to be some things you can change probably, right?
Yeah, but I think a lot of people would push back against that. If you were to say that, okay, so this is something I would say as a black, that I think most black people would say.
Okay.
A lot. How do I want to phrase this? A lot of your sexual marketplace value, however you want to say it, is based off your looks. Looks get you in the door, and then game can help you, and then personality obviously is for mostly it's gonna be useful, but it's not the main thing. I don't think you would disagree with me.
I mean, I would disagree. I think your personality is really, 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 really important. Looks can help get you in the door. It's possible, but
can I get a percentage on that?
It's people don't really work that way. It's not gonna be 52% looks or 10%. I mean, depending on the person. I mean, some people are super tuned into certain things, and some people won't care. But this is okay. I'll say this very confidently. As somebody with a higher body count than probably every one of these fucking little red colors online, okay? If I could choose between 10 out of 10 looks and 6 out of 10 personality, or 10 out of 10 personality and 6 out of 10 looks, without a second thought, I would do the 10 out of 10 personality, and you would slay harder. Not even close. It would be not even close. Looks can get you in the door, but you can fuck it up. There are going to be some girls that'll only fuck you for looks. It's possible, but those are going to be the lamest girls anyway. You don't care about those. Looks aren't going to carry you through online combos as much. You try to set up dates. Even attractive guys can come off as creepy or overbearing if you're not careful. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can do for your looks in terms of just getting get a fucking haircut, shave, get clothes that fit. The personality part, I would go with a 10 out of 10 personality every time.
And you said it was 6 out of 10 looks?
6 out of 10 looks, 10 out of 10 personality, I think would pull harder than 10 out of 10 looks and 6 out of 10 personality. Okay,
so I think will be the difference. Right now, I'm kind of it's mostly theoretical, so I'm not going to sit here and go hard, but I do think that the 10 out of 10 will have a better chance. If a female sees a 10 out of 10, a true 10, which is, it's quite rare, but just for the sake of this discussion, we're going to say a really attractive dude. She's going to try to see and get all the personality, because personality and looks aren't something you either have one or the other, so most people are going to try to give that dude more of a chance. That's where I would say it. There's a thought in the black pill that if you're attractive enough, you don't really need game, or you don't need as much game as someone that's way less attractive. I guess that's more
sure.
Favorable.
I mean, I don't agree. Obviously, some people say that, and it's hard to quantify at the end of the day, but I guess anecdotally, I did okay in high school, college, and I was a crazy fucking acne. I was so fucked. And also, I've gotten pictures from guys that send me email stuff that have trouble. There's a lot of guys that feel like that are like quote unquote blackpilled, and these blackpilled guys like look pretty attractive. It'll be like 6'2" dudes with good faces, and they look fine, and they're like, yeah, I just think I'm too ugly because I'm not tall enough. I've had like guys that are like 6'1" say shit like 6 feet tall, like, oh, they don't think they're tall enough or whatever. It's like, bro, like you're so down a bad path right now. Like there's no fucking shot.
Yeah, yeah, I kind of understand that because going down that path, it's a if you accept what they think is true, it's kind of brutal. But I guess if you understand, like, I could be like a victim of the algorithm or whatever the fuck, and I could just be seeing like really good Blackpill content. But I kind of see Blackpill as more of a descriptive, not really like it's not synonymous with like it's over, 'cause that's like a whole different movement, I think. But it's kind of like it's just accepting looks, and then they give you things you can do to improve your looks. So obviously, you already mentioned the haircut, the improve your style. That's what I'm kind of like focusing on right now. But I don't think I kind of forgot what you said, but I don't think I necessarily disagree with that. But that's how I would define the pills. It's not really like a prescription. It's mostly the description, and then the prescription. You could be hopeful in any type of like philosophy, like just because you think that looks really does play a huge part, it would impact how you do it. Oh, what I wanted to say was, it sounded like your success kind of came from like what they would call more warm environments. So that's kind of
What
like
does that mean? What does a
like,
warm environment mean?
it's like warm approach. So a warm approach, there's like three approaches. There's online, there's warm, and there's cold. So a cold approach will be like you walking down the street and then you just talk to a random female, like no prior experience. That would be a cold approach. A warm approach would be you have a certain like friend circle.
Oh yeah, sure, but like, why the
maybe-
fuck would you ever, if you're trying to hook up via cold approach, that's like a whole other life. Why the fuck would you ever do that? That's like the hardest thing ever to do. I don't think most people, period, hook up that way.
It's the problem is it's kind of like post. I don't know if I want to say it, but it's pros. Can I say that?
Okay.
I want you to get banned. But so like a lot of the more warm approaches, most people, including me, I struggle with like getting into like environments with like females that's acceptable, especially like now where you just see like the gym things kind of, because I want a female that I work out, so I want a female that like works out. But if I approach a female at the gym, it's the whole new controversy is like crazy.
I mean, you can do it. You just have to not be creepy about it. But it's hard to say that because it's like, how do you, like, some people just don't know what comes off as creepy or not, right?
Yeah, you don't know if you don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't. Yeah. So there's that whole little thing. But I think we kind of. I think we got the definitions down. I kind of want to get a little deeper. There's a kind of bigger question I wanted to ask you.
Yeah. What's
and it's there's three main goals. I kind of want to let you choose where we go down. The main thing would be like, how do you square free will and like your knowledge of how psychology works with like, and not become like a genetic determinist? Because I listen to a lot of Sam Harris, one of my favorite people. I think he should be like what masculine men like strive for, like his security, like with his meditation and all that bullshit. Anyways, how do you square knowing or not believing in free will? First, can you define that? And how do you square that with like your brain always trying to trick you in psychology and stuff like that? How do you?
Well, I guess I don't even understand what the question is.
Okay.
Because like, I mean, like free will, having no free will, you can be genetically and environmentally determined, right?
What did you say?
Just because you don't have free will doesn't mean that it's all determined by genetics. It's going to be genetics plus environment every time, right?
Yeah, but I guess my question would be like, people don't seem to have a lot of empathy for like incels and shit like that. So wouldn't you, from my point of view, let me try to iron this out. From my point of view, an incel, like a true incel, because there's obviously all these like fake people that are like 6'1", and you're like a normie. You're not really like a true incel. But like true incels, I think it's like less than 10% or maybe like 15%, maybe. But for these people, how could you not have like sympathy? Like a lot of people struggle to have sympathy for them. Like,
well, I think it's because of what
true
it
people.
depends on what incel means, right? I think people probably have sympathy for people that like literally can't get laid no matter what, and it's like a huge struggle in life. You can
I
have
don't think that
sympathy.
is.
I think you can have sympathy for those people, but the problem is incel is taken on a broader meaning of like people that hate, right? And so of course
Okay.
there's gonna be less sympathy for those people.
Okay, I can agree with that, but it does seem like if you're not sexually like successful as a man, it's hard to be respected. At least that's from experience, my experience from people I know. You're gonna be society really doesn't look happily upon you, or however you want to say it.
Um, sure. I don't. What are we at? I don't know what we're talking about right now. Hold on. Yeah. Chances are, if you're not sexually successful as a male, usually people would assume there's other things going on with you, right? That's going to be true of like a woman that reaches a certain age as well. If you're like 30, 35 or whatever,
That's
you don't
true.
have any kids, some people will look down on you. I guess it just depends on where you're at or who your friends are, right?
I guess yeah. I guess we're talking. I'm talking about mostly like virginity, and like for women, it seems that if you're a virgin, it's a good thing, but for a man, it's not. It's really not. Like you get hard shit on, and then if you try to like discuss your problems, you
I
kind
think
of
it's super gonna depend on your environment. I think like if you're online saying shit like like fuck women, they won't give me the time of day, blah blah blah, then yeah, people are gonna hardcore shit on you. But I think like if you meet a girl, you're getting along with her and everything's cool, and you're like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm a virgin. I don't think she's like, oh my god, I hate you. Like I don't think it's gonna be the same. Like, and you could just lie about it, right? Like it's not like anybody knows.
sure. Okay, I kind of want to talk about hypergamy. Can we keep going?
Sure, knock us out.
Okay, so first, can you define it, and then I kind of want to see because I think that most of these red pill, black pill topics mostly like a definition game. But first, can you define it and how you kind of see it? What you think about it at first?
Isn't hypergamy like women? People say women try to date up socially or in terms of wealth, basically.
Yeah, it's typically I see people try to define it without giving like a modifier at the end, like saying like status, wealth, and I think that's kind of wrong because I think you correctly stated in some interview that people kind of date within their like means or their bracket. Like you can only purchase what you have the money for.
Sure.
But something that really does not map on to like my experience or like the male experience in general is like when females say, I'm curious how you square this. When females say like, if I have this, a man must have this, like have more. Like how
If I
do you
have
think
this,
that's
a
gonna
man must have this. Wait, can you be a little
like
more
if I have
clear?
this certain amount of if I make a certain amount of money, a man must make more than me. If I'm this intelligent, a man kind of has to either match my intelligence or be higher.
I think for the money thing, those standards are actually changing.
Height and everything usually.
Well, height is different because that's a highly gendered trait. For the money stuff, I think women over time are slowly becoming more amenable to dating a man that makes less money than them. I wish I had that study. Women's preference over time, partner, income. I think the one I saw, I think it was 2017, 2018. Oh. Fuck, I'm not gonna be able to find this over time.
I think you're gonna have to summarize what you.
Well,
or you could just tell me.
there was a study that tracked over time, like women being willing to date down economically, and I think it said that like I want to say like 10 years ago it was like only 27% of women would be willing to date down economically, and then as of like 5 years ago that number had risen all the way to like 38% or something. So it seems like it's slowly changing over time, but I mean, that makes sense if it is, because obviously 10, 20, 30 years ago, men were expected to earn more, and as women earn more, those standards might change as time goes on. But
Do you think when they relax those standards that the other things they value is gonna like increase? Like, I think the manosphere kind of says looks, money, status. So do you think when they relax the
yeah,
money,
the manosphere doesn't
or,
talk about relationships. They talk about a very crude form of hooking up, which most of them I don't think do that much.
I think I
Looks,
agree.
money, status don't power relationships. That's cap. That's the hardest cap ever. There's a reason why all these guys are single and have very little to no serious relationship experience. But
You don't think that kind of gets you through the door? Like,
doesn't matter. Getting in the door, it doesn't mean anything. like getting in the door can get you in the door, but that's not going to power a relationship. Like relationships require dedicated work and practice to make them work. I'm sure there are some things that like maybe get you in the door a little bit easier, but I mean, those are things that I believe can be worked on. I think that what you said earlier, that warm versus cold approach, I don't know if it's called warm approach, but like having like groups of friends where you're like constantly or consistently talking to women and stuff, it probably goes a long way in helping too. But yeah, like people, do this like looks, money, status, looks, money, status, looks, money. And it's like, okay, but like that's not going to keep a relationship going ever.
I mean, yeah, it won't keep a relationship going, but I think that's where personality and your things come in. But if you don't meet her like looks threshold, I kind of feel like you're kind of
but I think the looks threshold that women have for men, I think can vary dramatically. I don't think that women judge as harshly on appearance as men tend to. Which makes sense because women don't shop for appearance as much as they, right? In the traditional red pill world, they shop for resources, right? And I think women in general
maybe red pill, but I'm kind of more black pill, and so more black pill females seem to be way pickier than men when it comes to looks. Like that's according to what I've seen recently. I mean, I could be argued out of that, but
I don't think that's true at all. That's actually, I know for a fact on its face that's not true. That can't possibly be true.
I think we're talking about maybe different females. Like usually younger females will prioritize looks, and then maybe later they'll start relaxing their looks standard. And
if that was the case, there'd be a whole industry built around looks for men, right? There's not really, right? For women, there's plastic surgery, there's makeup, there's like a billion different things. For men, there's like not really as much. Like if it was the case that there were like a couple easy ways or things that men could do to improve their appearance that would like guarantee get them laid, like every guy would be doing it. I think it would be like massively fucking, like every guy would just be like, oh, we just need to do this, and then boom, 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 boom. But I think that for women, I think that the men tend to judge on looks more harshly, and you can see that in the way that like there's a billion things now that like every woman does in order to improve their appearance through like cosmetic surgery, filters on Instagram, like all this shit.
Kind of want to push back, but it's not. My pushback is mostly theoretical, so it's not really. I kind of want to apply it before I have a harder stance. But most of these, when you say there should be like an industry based off looks, like if you do that for men, one, there's a difference between like the libido gap. I kind of want to explain on that later, but if you do that for men, like you're only able to change so much of your looks. So that's why it kind of feels like a lot of these red pill dudes are like not grifting, but they're trying to make a quick buck because they tell you all these things you can change. Like you can go to the gym, you could do, get your money up, all this. But if you were to really do what like Kevin Samuels used to do, where he would just rate your face and say, here, this is where you are. This is your sexual marketplace value. This is how much you can increase. And that's what I kind of see from like the black pill pillars, like black pillars that I kind of watch. There's not going to be as much of a market. Like that's way too brutal for people to acknowledge.
Okay, okay.
At least that's how I see it. And there's another thing that I forgot how this ties in, but you kind of made me think about it. Like the difference between like I don't think you would push back on this. Like the worst females, or not the worst females, but the lowest tier females, however you rank them, is gonna have way more options than the chads or whatever the fuck you want to call them. So you're gonna see
the worst females have more options than the chads for what?
I guess you kind of disagree, like dating and
no, not for dating. They'll have more options for hooking up, but I don't think they'll have more options for dating.
I was gonna say that I think you disagree with like the dating and hooking up. How I kind of look at it is how I kind of look at it. Look at it right now.
Hold on 1 second. Mel, do you need me to buy you socks?
Yes.
Okay.
How I kind of look at it is that you kind of start off hooking up, especially like in 2022. You start off hooking up, and then it leads into like a relationship. So like, there's so much talk about like situationships and stuff like that. Do you disagree?
I don't know. I don't know. The argument that was given in my subreddit was that like if you can fuck easier, you can get in relationships easier. I just don't know if I agree with that. A really ugly girl could fuck a lot of guys, but could a really ugly fucking single... No, I'm going anecdotally off here. I don't know if this still happens. Somebody can tell me if I'm wrong. When I was in California and I was on Tinder, for over 3 years, I saw, anytime I would hop back on, I always saw the same, like, 32-year-old, like 29-year-old, single mom, like 400-pound, like, you're going to respect me and I'm only looking for a long time. I saw those women on Tinder for years. Literally, every time I would come back to Tinder, those same women would always be there. So the idea that, like, any woman could hop into a relationship with, like, any man anytime they want, I don't know if that's true. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I wouldn't agree with that. It's not I think men kind of, they hold the key to the relationship a little bit more, but the females, it's the sex. So if we take it out of this realm and we take it more into like a business aspect, I kind of look at it like a man. Oh fuck, I'm gonna fuck this up. But the woman is kind of like the company, and the man is like the person trying to get employed, right? So you try initially, you're like fighting for the company's approval or whatever the fuck you're trying to get into the door, right? And you're trying to get that interview, and then once you get hired, and like that's when you're in the situationship or whatever the fuck, the employee has more options. Like they can demand more. Like once you're through the door, and they can like decide whether they stay or go. Like you have way more power, and I think that's kind of like synonymous with like how men hold the keys to like a relationship, and women, you know what I mean? They have more access to like sex.
Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of broadly agree with that. I don't know if I would agree with the analogy, but I think I broadly agree with that. Sure.
Okay, I think we're just gonna loop. Can I go to my next thing?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so this is gonna get a little spicy.
Okay.
Okay, so in Blackpill, according to Blackpill, there's 3 things to looks, right? There's face, there's height, and then there's ethnicity, and these all kind of impact like your dating prospects.
Okay.
And basically, since you are like the person covering so many black issues and fighting all these black issues, I kind of want to have a question, see how you thought about it. So, a lot of people talk about like white privilege, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I think I gotta back up. So, when you look at like the ethnicities and like how they kind of break down, you see that certain ethnicities are preferred over others. Like you can look at nationally, you can look at U.S. Like white people seem to be globally desired, like females and men. And I think in the United States, black women are the least desirable, according to most
like
stats.
Black women and Asian men, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, black women, Asian men, and I think Indian men go into that category. I think Asian women are in the top end. So knowing this, right?
Okay.
Would it be weird? I don't know what to call it. What word you want to say? But is it wrong to like, as a black man, go for a white woman, like to give your child the best white privilege or whatever, fuck, give your child like a slice of that pie? You know what I mean? Give your child the best opportunities, knowing that the halo effect exists and stuff like that, and all this. Like, I don't get how people are still like trying to date within their race, and why people are so tied to it when you claim that the other people have so much privilege. Like, why wouldn't you try to get a piece of that?
I mean, if you want to, go for it. I mean, like the way that I see it is there's always going to be some things in life that help, and there's going to be some things in life that hurt. And like all you can do is, you know, try your best with what you can control, try your best with what you can't. I mean, some people, there might be like different preferences for different races for, oh my God, for a variety of reasons. But I mean, like, would you be better marrying a certain race to help your child? I mean, I guess kind of. You'd also be better marrying like somebody rich. You'd be better marrying somebody that lived in a different area. You'd be better marrying people from different countries. I mean, theoretically you could, but I mean, like, I don't know if I could hold together a marriage just because of somebody's, like race.
I'm not talking about that, but if you state a preference like that, if like say for instance, I'm a black dude and I explicitly say that like I want to date a white girl because I want my
Then that's cringe.
kids.
I think it's cringe. You're not gonna be able to hold a relationship together by dating a woman just because of her race. Like, there's no way that's gonna work.
I mean, there's other things to the thing, but I'm just saying if that's like a.
I mean, I guess if you really want to, I mean, that's Fanatic does that with black women. He says you'll only date black women because they know the struggle or some shit. So.
Yeah, this is not really like I don't really hold this point of view. I kind of think you should date whatever you want to date. Like love is, I'm kind of cringy in that aspect. Like love is love, blah blah blah. Do whatever you want to do. But I was just curious, like what you thought about that because I really don't see people talk about that. Is this interesting? Can I keep going?
Yeah, if you want to, go for it. I'll give you one more take. Go for it.
Okay, let me choose between the one I want to go after. Okay, this is a decent one. This is gonna be a hard one for me to kind of flesh out because I kind of thought about it, and it's gonna be. So recently, I got into like a little disagreement with one of my friends about like how you should raise your daughter, like what you would tell your daughter to do, right?
Okay.
And these are some of the givens, right? So these aren't like prescriptions; these are like more descriptive things that I kind of see in the world. So men clearly care about body count. That's a pretty given. Men care about body count. Women, they seem to have to get their life together like pretty earlier than men. Like Red Pill would say they hit the wall at like 35, and there's complications with pregnancies. So if you want to have 4 kids, you'd have to like maybe start at like 30 if you want to have like healthy. I don't know the specifics, but you kind of get the gist, right?
Okay.
And then if you combine that with, I think this is where you're going to disagree. I think I've seen you say that you wouldn't mind your daughter being a sex worker.
I mean, I guess if she wants to, sure.
Would you have a preference between your daughter being a sex worker and a doctor? Like would there be a preference in her like professions?
I probably would want her to do things that I value more because it's my personal choice, right? So like probably something in science or something like that would be something that I personally would value more. But
you wouldn't just be indifferent between like whether she chose sex work and whatever science thing you want to have her go down. You wouldn't be indifferent, right?
What do you mean I wouldn't be indifferent?
Like if you would push her towards the.
Yeah, I push her towards the thing that I wanted to do. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm just trying to establish that, like the preference thing. So knowing all that, like, how would you describe? What would you tell your daughter to do during her 20s? Like, would you tell her to, hey, I don't know if you're gonna disagree with this, but hey, your value is highest like at like 20, 22, 25 and stuff. Like you should start getting serious.
I would never say anything even remotely as cringe as
not as cringe.
I would say focus in school, figure out what you're good at, try really hard, and then go down the direction of life that you feel is best for you. That's probably what I would say.
Would you say to abstain from like men, or would you say like date with preference, similar to like Kevin Samuels?
No, I would just say be careful, make sure you understand what you're getting into, like stuff like that. Probably.
You want to be more strident on that? I feel like because the main disagreement I have with my friend was that I feel like knowing what I know now, I would be pushing my daughter way more towards, hey, date with purpose, like try to plan your life and calculate like how many kids you want and know that it takes there's a wall, like, you know what I mean? Like, not to be too red pill, but there's a wall that it's going to happen that you should have your life in order by then. So
I don't know. I don't think I would ever tell my daughter there's a wall. I just don't think.
You're talking about like you're harping too much on I'm talking about the concept underneath it, like the.
I know you're talking about the concept, but if you're having a conversation with children, there's no way that this isn't going to come off as you just like. It would just be the worst thing in the world. Like, imagine trying to like pick a partner for your child. Like, they're going to rebel against you so fucking hard. They're going to do the opposite so fast your head will spin.
Sure, but you wouldn't just give up. You would just keep saying like, hey, this is what I think would bring you most happiness. Like, usually having a certain like family and having kids is what most people. It's gonna be most people's like joy in life. Like,
I don't know if that's necessarily true. I wouldn't be pushing my child in that direction.
Really?
No. There's tons of things in life that can make you more happy than just having kids.
I guess, but like on your deathbed, you're not gonna really talk about those things, you're mostly going to be talking about like your family. Like that's gonna be
That
most
absolutely depends on what you've accomplished in your life. On my deathbed, like I'll think about my kids, but I'm also going to be thinking about like how cool streaming was and all the accomplishments and achievements I had in my life, of course, and the memories I've shared with like other people and stuff too. There's more to life than just having kids.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I guess. I don't think I have anything else to add.
Okay.
Hey, thank you
Yeah.
for
All right.
the talks. I kind of just wanted to run down a few things, and I started watching you this year, not too long ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. You could add that to the little tally of people that have been watching you recently. I think I got into you based off like Red Pill stuff, or maybe my friend introduced me. So yeah, your takes are pretty decent. Know what I mean?
Well, thanks. Have fun. Be careful.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Jeez.